This name must remind you ETF, right? Exchange traded funds. Then the idea is quite similar, but it's very powerful. They can put multiple kinds of tokens into a voucher, into a financial NFT, according to a certain proportion. 1 Bitcoin, 10 Ether, 100 Solana, 1,000 ADA, etc. So then this financial NFT is, actually suddenly become a portfolio, a mini fund. So this team believe that this NFTization of mini funds can revolutionize the traditional fund management, and I agree with them. So we would be more than happy to support more innovations like this. Now, certainly to do this, we need more financial resources. So we will continue our fundraising this year, and you may keep an eye on Solv, because as far as I know, we will have another big announcement soon. Last but not least, Solv is stepping towards an DAO. In 2022, we will launch the tokenomics and the governance mechanism, steadily and surely decentralizing the organization. I believe in less than a decade, the NFT DeFi will grow to be $1 trillion market. Solv wants to play a big role in this market, but more importantly, we want to participate in the game in a decentralized way. We want to collaborate with you, with everybody who has the same vision and same spirit of revolutionizing the financial world with NFTs, with DeFi, with blockchain technologies. We would like to work together. Not only we can earn a fortune, but also we could make the financial world more inclusive, more transparent, and fairer. So we welcome to join us, to join the financial NFT movement. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
In this video, we are going to take a detailed look at how Solv Finance has become the pioneer for financial NFTs, using its own Solv vouchers as an example. If you haven't watched our previous video on VNFT, you can do so in the link below. Empowered by the VNFT token standard, Solv Vouchers is a decentralized application for creating, managing, and trading allocation NFTs, which are to become a new asset class for financial NFTs in the world of DeFi. For this video, we will be specifically looking at how vouchers can be used as lockup allocations for projects and how it solves liquidity problems in the process. Our Solv vouchers are splittable, composable NFTs that lock a certain amount of tokens and unlock according to a programmed vesting schedule. That means our vouchers can be deemed as a semi-fungible asset, which can be combined when they share the same lockup period as well as lockup mode and same underlying asset type. You can split your voucher into multiple parts and auction each off individually on a platform like OpenSea. To mint a voucher, projects go to solv.finance and deposit accepted assets into the smart contract. Once the tokens are locked, projects will get the voucher as an NFT to represent the locked allocations just deposited in the smart contract. Not only can projects and teams freely convert assets into vouchers on Solv, but they can also choose how their locked allocations get distributed through the smart contract. For now, your options are linear, which means they will get released based on the block height, staged, which allows you to release chunks at a specific period of time, or as a one-time release with a date also set by you. Regardless of which release schedule you choose, you will be able to set the maturation date of the voucher, ensuring that the assets within are released when you want them to be.
Imagine a lake with clear water and unpolluted air. Imagine a website with real news and no hidden, unlabeled, sponsored articles masquerading as real news. That place exists, and it's called Be in Crypto, the first and only cryptocurrency news portal to provide complete transparency and honest news. Pure, relevant, informative. Are you in?
In a world where remarkable crypto projects are launched every day, how do you make yours stand out? We may have an answer. Meet Coinzilla. Coinzilla helps entrepreneurs put a spotlight on their crypto project. By using display, native, or press release advertising, you can reach millions of crypto enthusiasts everywhere. That's right, everywhere. And it's not even that difficult. Sign up, create your campaigns, and start advertising. No muss, no fuss. You have full control over your account. And our advertising experts are ready to help you at any step of the way. And hey, hundreds of advertisers and websites from all over the world can't be wrong. So join us now, and let's drive your project into a new digital world together.
Thanks a lot, Queenie. And you looked amazing and charismatic. And also, I'm just gonna open and show you some cards that I'm a director of Fair Desk Exchange in CIS. And we just started in September, and we already achieved quite good results. So guys, come to fairdesk.com and check it. So we are meeting our next speaker from a reputable company. This is a Bogdan Crețu. He's a marketing manager at Coinzilla.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Synopsis and Maxim for inviting me today here. My name is Bogdan Crețu, and I work as a marketing manager for Coinzilla. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. But first off, I'm going to talk a little bit about the goal behind Coinzilla and the story behind how this project got released. So Coinzilla was born out of one core belief, that cryptocurrencies have the power to change the world. And we don't have to look far to see that. Just take a look at countries such as El Salvador, Venezuela, or Cuba, where people turn to crypto when their governments and economies fail them. In Cuba, for example, the US imposed certain sanctions on the nation, and people couldn't use their credit cards or debit cards to pay for online services. And that's where companies such as Bitrefill started selling gift cards and subscriptions for crypto, allowing people to purchase domain names or Spotify subscriptions or Netflix subscriptions. So they basically empowered the citizens of Cuba to access certain services that the US basically cut from them. However, it's not that simple with crypto, because no matter how good a project or an idea is, it will always need one thing to help it grow and spread, and that's advertising. You can have the best product in the world, but if nobody knows about it, you can't make an impact. And back in the day, you could advertise your crypto project on social media or Google, but the delivery of your ads wasn't contextual. And the crypto market was much smaller than today, so it was actually harder to reach your target audience. And to top it all off, major advertising giants such as Google or Facebook already had a bad impression of the crypto industry, which eventually led them to ban certain crypto projects from advertising on their platforms back in 2018, I believe it was. However, to solve that issue, we thought of a solution. And our solution was to create a network of thousands of publishers of all sizes, through which advertisers could reach their target audiences contextually with relevant content. And our partnerships with major websites such as Etherscan, CoinGecko, or KuCoin opened new doors for advertisers, helping them reach new audiences, generate brand awareness, and generate conversions. And what we are aiming for at Coinzilla is to offer and create better advertising opportunities. So we have two types of advertising services. We have display advertising and content advertising. And for display advertising, we have Coinzilla Display, where advertisers can use banner ads, native ads for web, or native in-app ads to reach their audiences. And our banners are optimized for both mobile and desktop devices. And regarding content advertising, we have Coinzilla Marketplace, where users can deliver their sponsored content in the form of press releases, organic articles, or even sponsored articles directly on the websites of our publishers. And we also work with direct deals with major publishers, which can provide our clients with custom advertising methods such as in-app notifications or custom buttons or special banners. And to further improve the advertising experience, we also provide various benefits to our clients, such as personal account managers, a dedicated design team that can create custom banners, both static, dynamic, or HTML5. And we also have a dedicated team of copywriters that can create articles and content according to your specifications. Last but not least, we also have a performance optimization tool that is integrated in our platform. But I'm going to talk a little bit about some numbers, how big our publisher network is. In September 2021, we reached one of our main milestones. That's to deliver over 1 billion impressions per month. And we do that all over the world in over 160 countries through over 600 major partner websites and apps. And since 2016, we delivered over 16,000 campaigns for hundreds of advertisers, helping them attract countless new leads. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. If you want to know more about Coinzilla, make sure to check out our website, and you can reach out to one of our account managers using our platform, and they can fill you in with more details and walk you through the whole process of setting up your first advertising campaign and of generating new exposure for your brand. Thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of the sessions.
In a world where remarkable crypto projects are launched every day, how do you make yours stand out? We may have an answer. Meet Coinzilla. Coinzilla helps entrepreneurs put a spotlight on their crypto project. By using display, native, or press release advertising, you can reach millions of crypto enthusiasts everywhere. That's right, everywhere. And it's not even that difficult. Sign up, create your campaigns, and start advertising. No muss, no fuss. You have full control over your account. And our advertising experts are ready to help you at any step of the way. And hey, hundreds of advertisers and websites from all over the world can't be wrong. So join us now, and let's drive your project into a new digital world together.
Imagine a lake with clear water and unpolluted air. Imagine a website with real news and no hidden, unlabeled, sponsored articles masquerading as real news. That place exists, and it's called Be in Crypto, the first and only cryptocurrency news portal to provide complete transparency and honest news. Pure, relevant, informative. Are you in?
It is the year 2073. The cryptoverse is a war zone. We are the defenders, leaders, and protectors of our universe. We are the Chain Guardians.
Thanks, Bogdan. Actually, we know firsthand about you, and we have already seen how powerfully Coinzilla works because we actually, like, as a CoinDar, we use it a lot. So the next speaker is already impatiently ready to break into the air. Meet Alexander Lee, Global Marketing Manager at ESG Financial.
Hello, Maxim. First of all, I would like to thank Coindar and Calibri Group for inviting us. And my name is Alex. I'm Global Marketing Manager at Eco DeFi. Yeah, nice to meet you. So let's get it started. My presentation today will consist of 3 parts. I will start with a brief summary about our progress in 2021, then a couple of words about our alliances, and then I will proceed with our plans for 2022. Yeah. So what is Eco DeFi? Eco DeFi is the first in Korea decentralized lending platform deployed on Binance Smart Chain, enabling users to supply and borrow their cryptocurrency on high API rate. So on our platform, we offer financial products actually tied with real economy of renewable energy industry on top of conventional DeFi products and NFT. We launched our beta on October 2021. And as you can see here, there are 3 markets on our platform: general market, eco market, and eco NFT market. So general market is a conventional lending market. The users can supply and borrow their cryptocurrency and get APY. So far, we launched 7 top rated coins such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, WBNB, Y, and other stable coins. Yeah. Eco market is a loan market, so which provides opportunity to invest in recycling and renewable energy companies and offer higher interest rate compared to general DeFi loan market. So we all know how it's difficult nowadays for any project, especially in energetics industry, to get investment or loan from the bank, even though the project possesses some outstanding technology. Yes, so on the other hand, from user perspective, it's also very difficult to invest in such projects because of high entry barriers. So on our market, users are enabled to invest directly to renewable energy projects and achieve profit with them. Yeah. Eco NFT market is a new concept of investment market that issues NFT backed by the value of renewable energy technology. And after launching Eco NFT market on Eco DeFi, users can buy and mint NFTs on our platform. Yeah, a couple of words about our ultimate goal, about our vision. Eco DeFi's vision is combating environmental degradation, in that number maintaining carbon neutrality. We strongly believe that now companies both of small and large sizes should focus more attention on environmental, social, and governance management, and to rapidly spread the environmental industry and renewable energy business, few funds are actually needed. So we are building a DeFi platform specialized for environment and renewable energy business, paying attention that the fact that where there is no profit model connected to the real economy, although DeFi finance is using blockchain is actually growing. So in the case of environment and energy industries, while the yield was high, investment was only possible for existing centralized financial industries or services such as banks and some private equity funds. So on Eco DeFi platform, we will provide financial products that anyone in the world can actually invest in environment and renewable energy business with their cryptocurrency. A couple of words about our specific features. So Eco DeFi operates in such a way that the actual investment returns are clear and profits are shared through low fees. The platform is designed to discover the invest in innovative companies for recycling and renewable energy to generate high returns and return most of the profit back to investors. applying governance structure on EcoDeFi, they link our platform to real economy. So to provide our user with products that can be invested in the real economy and generate stable and high profit structure. Yeah, this is briefly speaking about our platform. Let me tell a couple of words about our alliances. As I mentioned before, we are planning to open eco market on our platform on EcoDeFi. So on eco market, users can invest into some promising project from the renewable energy industry. Yeah, and we already prepared a couple of projects which will be open for investment. Yeah. The project number one is gasoline vapor recovery and liquefaction system patented by Ecomagic company. Yeah, specifically the solution is embodied in the as renewable energy device that can reduce greenhouse gases, and mostly used or mostly installed in gas stations. The device is already installed in Korea and China, and the company is rapidly expanding into the Indonesia and Vietnam. I personally visited one of these gas stations in Korea, and as you know, when you go to any gas station, there is kind of strong smell of petroleum. So on this gas station, they each install these devices. There is no any smell at all. And this project will be launched on our platform and be available, be open for investment by our users. Yeah. Our second project is steam boiler using natural pellet energy. The technology is patented by K-Power. Specifically, the solution is embodied as a steam boiler using natural pellet fuel. And one boiler can produce about 24,000 tons of steam every year. And the devices are already installed in Vietnam. So if you go to any factory, those factories which integrated these technologies, instead of smoke, produce steam. That's how it works. And this is project number 2, which also be launched on our platform. And yeah, and be available for investment to our users. Okay, let me proceed with our governance token. EcoDeFi has its governance token, its name ESG. We deployed our token on 2 blockchains. The first one is BP20 standard. ESG tokens deployed on BP20 standard will be used for governance participation and rewarding in EcoDeFi platform. And the second token is deployed on Ethereum on ERC20 standard. The tokens can be used for R&D, marketing, team member, and listing. Yeah. We held 2 rounds of private investment for our token sale. And on the first sale, which was held in April 2021, we raised 1.5 million USD. And on the second round of sale, which was held in September 2021, we raised 1 million USD. Yeah, so as you can see here, the total emission of our token is 100 million ESG tokens. Yeah. This is details of our token allocation about tokenomics. Yeah. Okay, so about listing. So our token, our ESG token or ERC20 standard is actually traded in on global exchanges such as LBank, Dcoin, and Probit Global Exchange. If in terms of BP20 standard, ESG tokens can be purchased on PancakeSwap and BabySwap. Yeah. A couple of words of our social life. EcoDeFi is actually quite active in participating in various on or offline crypto-related conferences or meetings. So besides Synopsis 2022, we also participated in one of the most awaited offline crypto conference in Korea in Busan Money Show 2021, along with the most promising Korean companies in fintech and blockchain domains, such as Bank of Korea, Korean Exchange, and other crypto projects. And also, for your information, our CEO, Kenny Han, was selected as leading industry expert, and with his speech, Kenny Han ensured the full immersion in the world of DeFi paradigm. Yeah, a couple of words about our expansion. On December 21st, in 2021, EcoDeFi signed memorandum of understanding with Vietnamese digital asset management company PYH, with the aim to develop our business operation in Vietnam. So actually, that is how we expanded to Vietnam market, which is one of the top leading countries in terms of adoption of cryptocurrency. And in the beginning of January, we already held AMA session with a local crypto community. Yeah, say don't trade coin. Yeah. And we finished our year by winning in Awards 2021, which is Internet Eco Award Innovator, and we were awarded as innovator. Yeah, this award was hosted by Korea Internet Professional Association, KIPFA, which is Korea's most prestigious award ceremony for the evaluation of the best internet service, judged by a team of 3,800 internet experts. Yeah, and now let me present some short promo video about EcoDeFi, so you'll have more better understanding or deeper understanding about our platform.
To avoid a climate disaster, the world has declared carbon neutrality by 2050. In line with this wave, renewable energy industry is emerging as an important field. Let us introduce EcoDeFi, an investment platform that incorporates blockchain technology with the renewable energy industry. You can invest in renewable energy that can capture opportunities in the carbon neutral period, as we made improvements in the existing DeFi platform business models with unclear profit sources. New DeFi paradigm of energy investment market. Investors can invest in renewable energy through EcoDeFi. The invested cryptocurrency is then reinvested into renewable energy companies that have the technology to contribute to carbon neutrality. Along with the interest profits from the investment, investors will receive profits from the investment made in renewable energy industry. We plan to expand the market every year, starting with Korea and China in 2021. Starting with oil vapor liquefaction devices, we will continue to provide investors with sustainable returns by discovering and investing in renewable energy businesses that can secure stable profits. EcoDeFi, the renewable energy investment platform, is a business that is based on the real economy industry, with no uncertainty, competitive fees, and high profits. DeFi paradigm shift. EcoDeFi.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, let me proceed with our plans for 2022. So briefly speaking, following our global expansion strategy in 2022, our primary targets, our primary goals are get done audit. So currently we are passing audit by CERTIC. Once we finish, we will announce publicly about the results. Yeah, also, we are planning to open our eco market and eco NFT market on our platform EcoDeFi. Yeah, then our mission is get listed in one of the top 10 global cryptocurrency exchanges. And every 6 months, we will launch a new investment product for our users on our eco market. Yeah, this is briefly speaking about our plans for 2022. Yeah. And to all our updates on use, you can find in our SNS, in Telegram, in our website, Twitter, and Medium. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I hope to see you soon. And you're very welcome to EcoDeFi. Take care.
Imagine a lake with clear water and unpolluted air. Imagine a website with real news and no hidden, unlabeled, sponsored articles masquerading as real news. That place exists, and it's called Be in Crypto, the first and only cryptocurrency news portal to provide complete transparency and honest news. Pure, relevant, informative. Are you in?
Welcome to the Theta Network. Earn T-Fuel crypto rewards simply by watching live streams and videos. As you watch and share with others, you're contributing to the decentralized Theta Network, all powered by Theta's native blockchain. Discover the future of video delivery at thetanetwork.org.
So now it's a time for advertising. Sorry guys, but I need to say it again. So I'm glad to welcome all of you, all participants, viewers, and owners of the Synopsis Summit NFTs on Theta Drop again. This is the second day of our first summit, and this is me again, Maxim Sukhanosik, host of the Synopsis Summit, co-founder and COO of Calibra Group and Coindar, and of course Synopsis by itself. As before, Synopsis events offers full immersion in the digital economy, decentralized finance, and NFT. The following topics will be discussed during the summit: insights and wrap-up of 2021, forecasts and targets for 2022, DeFi, NFT, IVO and Financial NFTs, Metaverse, mining, GameFi, eSports, trading, and copy trading. So the official partners of the broadcast is Theta TV. Also, on a Theta Drop platform, you can get known with several collections of our exclusive NFTs dedicated to the summit and become the owners. The NFT data was developed jointly by the teams of Calibra Group, Theta Labs, Coindar, and the summit's official artist, Alain Bell. This time, we have presented you one of the first Theta Pass NFT implementations for access to premium content for conference participants. What does it mean, you ask? This means that every owner of Synopsis NFTs can get a ticket of a special category called Theta Pass to unlock the premium features of the tickets, as access to premium content and other options in the future. So to do this, you need to have any NFT on Theta Drop released by Synopsis and log into the Synopsis website and the appropriate section ticket Theta Pass. We also want to remind you guys that a few days ago, Theta Drop, by a wide distance from rest, actually, became the winner of the audience voting during the live broadcasting of Cointelegraph with representatives of NFT marketplaces. The summit is organized by the international blockchain consulting company Calibra Group and the leading cryptocurrency calendar Coindar.org. The co-organizers of the summit are the well-known media company Being Crypto, covering cryptocurrency and blockchain use in many languages of the world. I want to thank the diamond sponsors who made a significant contribution to the organization of this event. These are largest companies in the field of DeFi, MPC, and eSports, such as Algorand, ARPA-Chain, Veracity as well, Esport of Real, and TradeGo. Gold sponsors such as Solv Protocol, Gather Network, Bella Protocol, Thetatis, Chain Guardians, Fairdesk, and Vera eSports also made a no less significant contribution. And we express special thanks to our dear friends and partners who also made a huge contribution to make this event real. These companies are Theta Network, Theta Drop, and Theta TV, Curate, Binks, Bitflix, Exmo, Exib, Prism NFT, and NewPay. So heading to the next speaker is Jagdeep Sidhu, president and lead developer at Syscoin. Yes, it's Syscoin. You guys all heard about it. Is that good? All Syscoins that everyone heard like so many times and like so much about it. So Jagdeep, thank you for responding to our invitation. Please, you have the floor.
Hi, welcome to Syscoin. We are a project from 2013, kind of like an OG project that we've been working towards and innovating with in a long cycle of research and development. And we are focused mostly on enterprise as well as scalable infrastructure for tomorrow's critical apps, DeFi, Metaverse, AI, smart cities, IoT. This is the future as we see it, and we are scaling up with the help of zero-knowledge proofs, but we are secured with the help of the Bitcoin consensus model. So I will go through a couple of decks and just a brief overview of what Syscoin is. Wanted to introduce myself as my name is Jagdeep Sidhu, and I am the core developer of Syscoin. President of the foundation, as well as CTO of Blockchain Foundry, which oversees development and product roadmap for Syscoin as well, revenue generation products. We'll go over some of those products that we're looking to develop on top of the Syscoin protocol, as well as some of the research that's been done and the roadmap, what we did in 2021 and what we're looking ahead in 2022. So let me share a screen and we can go through kind of what we're all about here. So Syscoin, when I was saying we borrow the Bitcoin consensus model, what we mean there is we started out with Bitcoin in terms of the security model, and we created an asset protocol on top of that. So the idea there is if you want as a business to store assets or money, create tokens, you can do so with the assurance that the ledger that you're storing those assets and you're transacting those assets on are part of the security model of Bitcoin, which is far and away the most decentralized, hardened, secure system on the planet. There's many academics that have been did formal proofs or writings on the security model aspect of it. And the miners itself are proven to be, even under circumstances where majority of miners may own the power on the Bitcoin network, the hashing power. We've seen instances where that's the case, and it still has survived those tests. So really good, strong security model that employs decentralized network philosophy. And we built on top of that. And then recently, we've worked on a few things on the asset protocol in the last few years. We did something called ZDEG, which enables instant point of sale type transactionality, with the idea that later on, when we have Lightning networks running to scale, we'll be able to move those assets over off the chain for point of sale, real millions of transactions happening without affecting the base layer or causing fees to go up, but still have the on-chain point of sale capabilities through ZDEG as kind of like a backup for resilience purposes. And then in the last year or so, from 2019 on, we've been seeing the advent of ZK rollups and zero-knowledge proofs in general getting to a place where the math was efficient enough for us to use in blockchain applications. And the infrastructure we saw a bright future was to create a roll-up centric roadmap where the security of Bitcoin is applied to the EVM infrastructure of Ethereum and scaling through ZK rollups. We, as a base layer, what we consider it will have execution capabilities as it does today, but it's slow, it's secure, and it's stable. And then on the layer 2 is where we apply some of the interesting concepts to do fast, scalable, zero confirmation strategies to be able to get people their money and trades in real time without having to wait for block times and without having to pay for settlement, huge settlement costs on the main ledgers. So we'll start with a nice quote that with the great power of decentralized future comes a responsibility to provide security and functionality and technology designed to encourage collaboration and growth. Metaphor for, with the great power comes responsibility, famous quotes that we've seen from the superhero comic books. But, the idea here is we feel responsible to create this stuff in a way that's going to usher in growth without affecting security through black swans and other events. As we know, the devil's in the details with designing some of the stuff. If you even get one little thing wrong, the entire system can implode when external factors like the financial markets are blowing up and inflation is going hyper at that point. We don't know how some of these systems will react to those situations. The closest we will know is with the Bitcoin model, at least, we will have some assurance that there are no cases where there's, validators that can be colluded with, this kind of thing. It's a much safer environment, especially with proof of work. It's much safer in situations where there may be black swans happening in the real world. So, we feel that we need to usher this technology in with the responsibility to create solid growth and solid security fundamentals. And seeing the academic growth on the zero knowledge proof side, we feel, as honest developers, that this is the right path to go down to create our future financial systems that will depend on crypto tokens and economics and financial distributed computing using blockchain technology. So some of this long-term things we've worked on that related to our success are creating the NEVM smart contract platform, which is essentially like running a Geth node. We wanted to keep consistency with EVM without making too many changes. So we have essentially the Bitcoin model, which is Syscoin UTXO layer, running alongside of a Geth node, which is our EVM, and both systems are kept in lockstep by the Syscoin proof of work, which is merge mined with Bitcoin. So we are carbon neutral in that we don't expand any more energy into the environment, but we do actually borrow the work that's happening in the Bitcoin side from the miners, and they're actually getting subsidized by creating Syscoins at the same time. So it's almost free money for Bitcoin miners. So they would like to participate, and over time, as Bitcoin, as Bitcoin subsidy goes down to zero over time, there will always be that Syscoin subsidy because of our model being EIP 1559. There's always a guaranteed minimum amount of subsidy being outputted in the Syscoin ecosystem. So there may be a reason why Syscoin might end up helping Bitcoin miners and security of the Bitcoin network, because there's a reason to keep mining Bitcoin and merging it with Syscoin at the same time. So I hate to mention these numbers all the time, but yeah, once we do scale up, we do see a way to get this going to millions of transactions a second. Because we're not throwing these transactions on the base layer, it's off of the blockchain, but still offering the same type of security as using the base layer. The real bottlenecks are just basically on the zero knowledge proof creations on the provers. And so there's real nice, interesting optimizations happening there related to creating ASICs and firmware and FPGA GPU that will make ASICs very scalable, much like how the infrastructure around ASIC mining and Bitcoin made Bitcoin mining more profitable or scalable. So very similar concept is happening in the ZK rollup side with ASIC snarks and ASIC Stark miners coming out within a couple of years. And the benefit of owning one of those would be you could go on these auxiliary layer 2 systems on Ethereum and Syscoin, which there'll be many rollups, and be part of the proving networks there where you're earning subsidy on those networks. So be earning revenue potentially across many systems at once, depending on the required computation. So we're fully decentralized. We have paid full nodes. So these nodes are, we feel like, in Bitcoin, there's at least needs to be one honest node running and one honest person you're going to connect to that forms a network, gives you that connection to the Bitcoin network. It's kind of altruistic that someone will always be running. Whereas we actually have a governance system that pays out to full nodes that are proven to be running for a long time. So the longer you run, the more you get paid, kind of thing. So there's this seniority model built in, a very nice system that gets people to run full nodes long term. So you don't have to assume the altruistic model. There's a crypto economic model behind the fact that there's always going to be a large number of full nodes running to secure the networks. We're merge mined, so we covered that. It's sort of a green energy solution, and we feel we've solved the trilemma, which is, in the cap theorem, it's considered that you're always taking a trade-off. But we feel we did our best to solve the trilemma by keeping decentralization, keeping the Bitcoin security model, the security of that system where everyone checks everything, but moving things off of layer 1 into layer 2 without making any of those trade-offs of security and decentralization through the help of zero knowledge proofs, which essentially lets you avoid recomputing on every node. What every node computes is just a verification that transactions happened off-chain, but those transactions could be any number, millions or tens of millions of transactions that you're verifying within a few milliseconds, rather than running through all the calculations yourself, which is the difference between the modular blockchain designs that Ethereum 2 is going toward, that Syscoin is, and the monolithic designs that some of these other blockchains employ, where transactions are all happening in the same layer, and therefore they cap out at some layer, some amount of level, and they end up causing issues. Again, with externalities in mind as well. They may be designed for running 10 or 20,000 transactions a second, but in reality, when they get up there, even a few thousand transactions a second, there's a bunch of new attack vectors that can open up through external forces that running at such high throughput opens up the taps or the loopholes a little bit larger for someone to come in and cause issues. We've seen examples of this on a few of the blockchains out there that use validators to optimize performance, but in reality, when the throughput starts to get somewhere, we see issues with those consensus systems. So we need to move them off of the layer 1. We need to move off into a mathematical solution and not crypto economic solutions, which require communications amongst nodes and transactions to be recomputed for every transaction that happens. We need to group them up and batch them instead. So that's what ZKP helps. And we do have kind of a structure where, in Ethereum, you have consensus, and Bitcoin, you have Blockstream, and in Syscoin, we have Blockchain Foundry, which is a public company that focuses on development and research and also products on top. And we'll go through some of those. And so we have the enterprise angle and connections to the North American market, done a lot of work in digital identity. One of the digital identity systems we've created is rolling out nationwide through a bank, a consultation we did through a bank, and that's rolling out nationwide. And really exciting stuff that we've been working on, wallet development and just general practice advisory in the blockchain space. And we focused a lot of research and development on Syscoin, how we're going to get to a place where we can start to develop in the North American market and globally, and even stuff like compliance, thinking about compliance systems on top. And in general, because we've been focused so heavily on R&D and figuring out what the right path is, being honest with ourselves and figuring out not just going down the road of let's just do a validator system and then get scaled that way, but thinking about long-term black swan events and that sort of thing, how to avoid those, how to create something that's more aligned with what Bitcoin is doing and less aligned with maybe what some of these modular blockchains are doing to achieve some network effects in the short term. In the long term, we feel the marriage between the Bitcoin security and the ZK rollup EVM strategy is kind of the holy grail of achieving something that's going to be ushering in a secure, smart city, IoT type future where we have to depend that the system is secure and it's going to be secure even from state-driven attacks or black swan events. So switch a little bit to another deck that we worked on. That's we'll focus more on maybe some of the ZK rollup strategies. One of the interesting strategies are in compliance, and another strategies and just decentralized rollup strategies, kind of the ZK sync model, which is interesting. They're launching on Ethereum. They're entering the public testnet soon, and we should be able to, as soon as they launch, be able to take that and launch a Syscoin version. But there will be some specific changes we'd like to introduce that will make ZK rollups more, I guess, more secure on the Syscoin network, more than just the Bitcoin side, but actually solving some of these critical issues that rollups have in general around data availability. And I can get into that when we talk about ZK Sync. We've done some analysis on what, when we look through our lens of layer one ideologies of blockchain, we think of them as court systems. So if you think about it that way, instead of a computational system, this idea comes back from the original block size debates of Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin was first contemplated, like the block size are not big enough and we need to increase them because transactions need to get through on the blockchain and this and that. And some other people said, no, use Lightning networks. And other people said, no, Bitcoin's not money. And therefore we don't need to, everyone in the world doesn't need to do a transfer on the blockchain. It's mainly for settlement, which I think is probably what Bitcoin is. It's not money. It's not something that people are going to be using to send Satoshis around in daily life. It's going to be a settlement system, kind of like gold. It's going to be the bottom of the value stack pyramid, secure, decentralized, and it's there for wealth preservation. So it's a court system, right? So really it's slow, it's secure, it's decentralized. These are the things, it was born in the environment of the Lehman Brothers collapse and these other huge issues with the confidence of the markets that point towards central bank issued fiat, right? Which is not decentralized. There's a consortium of people figuring out what inflation rate actually is and figuring out how much money to print to create a growth curve that's targeting 2% and 2% inflation as well. There is no decentralization in that picture. And I think of that as more of like a validator approach in blockchain, where validators can collude and do stuff. If there really is a black swan event and there's enough money on the line, you can actually find strategies to affect solutions which depend only on a subset of nodes rather than everyone checking everything. So a court-based system is important. It means when we start looking at it that way, then the only solution you come to is we have to scale off of the court system. And then we were at a roadblock there from 2017 because if we thought about it that way, well, how are we going to achieve scalability of smart contracts if you can't put them on layer 1? If you moved them layer 2, we had things like Plasma. They were not as secure. There's always censorship issues, right? You move them to layer 2, and then the guys who are running layer 2, they take off, and your money is gone. You can't move it back to layer 1. So with zero knowledge proofs, we actually can preserve some of these concepts now, and we can keep the idea of court-based decentralized layer 1 with Lindy effects on security, and then have decentralized layer 2s that don't have any of the censorship issues that some of these earlier proposals had with Plasma and whatnot. Because of the fact that you have zero knowledge proofs, they don't need any crypto economics. You don't need fraud proofs and these sort of crazy things to keep these systems secure. You can keep them secure just through math, and that's the goal. So our base layer is essentially like what Ethereum EVM is right now. And the idea, again, is slow and secure and stable. The EVM spec is focused on security first rather than optimization. And some of the other chains doing optimizations on smart contract layer, they took the EVM and they either added opcodes, they removed opcodes, they changed the structure of the EVM, they changed the language. These things go away from the gold standard that the EVM is supposed to be considering is secure, stable form of Turing completeness. And that's what it is. That's where our base layer on the EVM side is. And there's also our UTXO layer, which is the basis of issuance of the proof of work coins that are hardened and created through the Bitcoin work. So the EVM side is connected to the UTXO side, but it's our base layer for execution, kind of like, I guess, the beacon layer of Ethereum. You have their execution shard in Ethereum 2. This is our execution shard. It's our base layer. It's where things can be stored. Also where, if you need to do a transaction, you can do it. And then we move off of majority of the users. Everyone is going to be transacting on the secondary layers. So EAP 1559 is a fundamental realization that you have utility of money on these coins happening, but if you have a case where you don't have constant inflation, you can run out of incentives for people to secure these systems. So having some sort of modeling where we modeled out the growth of our EAP 5059 through population growth. And so we think 1 or 2% of population growth per year, which is, it's coming down over time, but our inflation or EIP 1559 strategy should be modeled after that, so that there doesn't come to a situation where there's not enough coins to go around, and therefore the price has to be some crazy astronomical number, and it prices out a lot of the newcomers in the newer generations. So just ending off on the long-winded explanation of EIP 1559, we need the market to be able to serve utility regardless of what generation you're on now or in the future, without having an exponential trail off of the ability for you to participate, being priced out of the market. So that's the attempt of EIP 1559. Not only is there perpetual growth factored in, but also in our case, we have the master nodes, which are, it made us think a little bit on the long-term strategy of when subsidy comes to zero. So under this model, we have a base, once deflation gets to some limit, we have a base level where it stops deflating to pay the full nodes, to pay the master nodes. So this means you can have long-term assurance, if your strategy is holding the stuff 10 to 50 years, have assurance that once deflation comes down or deflation happens and you have subsidy coming down, at some level it will stop. And so you don't have to rely only on transaction fees. There's some, base level of compensation that you get. kind of like a base salary where you're relying on tips for your job. You don't have to rely on tips. We need a base salary as well. So this is kind of like the base salary for the master nodes, but also the base salary for the miners that are being paid. So yeah, so we think we're relevant in the market with ZK rollups and Ethereum 2 switching to sharding. We feel that we like to preserve the decentralized aspects of every node checking everything and roll up focus centric scaling. And we have strategies to compete even in the Ethereum 2 market. As Ethereum 2 will do is create more bandwidth and more data availability on their base layer. For every shard, they will add, I think, 64 kilobytes of bandwidth available to the network per block, which is every 13 seconds or so. And in our case, we have a strategy to enable bandwidth in a different way, but doing so in also a secure model where we don't have to shard and do proof of stake, but can keep on proof of work. So yeah, we have, when Q4 launched, we envisioned that the Matter guys, or the ZK rollup guys, Matter is interesting for us because they're going to create ZK Sync, which is ZK EVM, which means smart contracts can deploy generally on layer 2. And that is a really interesting milestone for the whole EVM ecosystem, particularly for Syscoin and for Ethereum. Ethereum users, there's millions of them. They control 75% of the DeFi market. They will have a place to go, and the developers will be able to launch existing contracts and put them on layer 2s. And now your contracts can live off of the layer 1, and you can transact just like you're transacting on layer 1, you can transact on layer 2 with your MetaMask wallet. And we will transition to, once we have our data availability solution, to being able to have users run transactions off-chain, meaning keeping your data completely off-chain. How rollups work today in the secure sense is you compute, you have your prover doing your computations off of the blockchain, but you also store just a little bit of data alongside your transactions on the blockchain. But if everyone was storing just a little bit of data on the blockchain, it's a small amount, like say for all your transactions that you're doing, it's maybe 10 to 15 bytes for your account. If everyone was doing that, you can see there's a linear correlation to scaling. It's not exponential, because there is still costs that go on the chain for the number of users that grows. If the number of users is growing, the number of data that's required on the chain is growing. And this is why Ethereum 2 is focused on just increasing that capacity, that data. So as the users grows, the capacity available on the network is enough to be able to put those users on the blockchain. And why would you want to put that data on the blockchain? Well, one simple reason is censorship resistance. If you are trying to move off of that layer 2 back into layer 1 and maybe go into another solution, you need to have the data available for you to prove that you are actually part of that roll-up state. And if you don't have that data, you can be censored, meaning you can't move off of that blockchain or off of the layer 2. So having the data on chain gives you that assurance that you can find that data yourself. You sync up to a local node, get that data, create your proof, and you're off there too. And there are, the problem is it doesn't scale exponentially, it scales linearly. You get maybe a 50x gain, but you don't get the exponential gains we are so excited to see with ZKP. So the other solution the ZK rollup guys came up with was Validium, right? And that's our code name for moving that data that as a user you put on chain, you start to move it off chain, right? You keep everything off chain except just the state. A small constant size state or ZKP goes on the blockchain, which is 500,000 gas, but it really doesn't change no matter how many transactions you do, and no matter how many accounts and how many transactions you get on layer 2, it becomes still constant size on the blockchain. So then you get exponential or almost infinite amount of gains possible. The problem is if you store your data off chain, you start to get into censorship risks. And how ZK Sync solves that is they have they're going to issue a new token, ZK Sync token, and you'll have a guardian. Guardians are running in their own consensus modules off of the blockchain. And if you want to store the data, the data availability off chain through Validium, you would tell the ZK Sync guardians, store my data and I'll pay you a little bit less money, not as much money as using on chain, I'll pay you a little bit less, but you'll store the data. And so, Vitalik recently had put out a big rant about using off-chain data availability, not as secure and not a good approach for long-term growth. And that's with Ethereum 2, everyone should just put all the data on the chain. It has the same security as layer 1. And then if you're using layer 2 consensus, it's a different model. And so what if someone buys all the ZK Sync tokens, takes control of that consensus, and then just censors everybody until they pay up? So that's an honest assessment. However, with Ethereum 2, we feel like with sharding and proof of stake, there's a degradation of security of layer 1 itself. So it's not as secure as something like Bitcoin. In our approach, we feel that we can come up with solutions for that off-chain data to be as secure as layer 1, but still keep it off-chain. So we'll go into how exactly yet, but this is the unique solutions we can apply to Syscoin, where we can make Validium with millions of transactions a second possible, but more secure than even what the rollups on ETH are doing, because it doesn't have support for the on-chain data availability where data is off-chain and it's guaranteeing that the data exists somewhere. So what does a big picture look like for all the blockchains? And you can see all the blockchains, and we put monolithic, modular. There's also another type called succinct. The Mina and the Mer blockchains are succinct blockchains, although the Mer is merging into Polygon, and so now it's just Mina. Maybe a few others are doing succinct, but I'd classify succinct as another example of a monolithic blockchain, basically, if you factor it down. So we look for modular blockchains. ETH2 and Sys are two modular blockchains. We look for something with finality because there's MEV attacks on layer 1. You'd like to solve, in Bitcoin, you'd like to solve selfish mining. The only way to do that is finality. So we have proof of work with finality. ETH2 has finality, but it's about 10 minutes. Ours is about 2.5 minutes, and it's proof of stake. Ours is proof of work. So we prefer proof of work here because you have inflation resistance. And again, the Bitcoin security model, the carbon footprint is an aside. I think there's not, that's something you can't really solve. If you move away from proof of work, you're getting, no matter what, you lose some security. And we feel since we're merged mine, we're not contributing to the actual carbon footprint. And Bitcoin is Bitcoin. We let the market decide that if it's not going away from Bitcoin, so we can't really do anything there. All we can do is provide value for someone without contributing any extra carbon ourselves. So that's how we position ourselves as kind of like a green attachment to the Bitcoin proof of work model. The light client actually can become trustless because on layer 2s, you have zero knowledge proofs that can prove that you're part of the state. And so to sync up to your blockchain, which you'd be on some layer 2 blockchain, you only need a few milliseconds and maybe a few kilobytes to sync up. Your smartphones and stuff will have no problem syncing up trustlessly without trusting an inferior backend or something like that. And then the cost model, again, like I was saying in EIP 1559, you have to model it out so that if in the long term, if you're creating a DeFi platform that's utility based, not like Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin is preservation of wealth, which is different, and they don't care if the price keeps going up exponentially. In our case, there needs to be some metric, and we don't know what the base level of speculation on a solution that solves DeFi in the long term. Maybe that's a lot of money in fiat equivalent, but it just can't exponentially keep growing. There needs to be some tie-in to base layer economics of the utility and long-term growth. Some sort of percentage, we modeled it out to be equivalent to around the population growth. So inflation is small amount of inflation that goes down over time is desired, we feel. So this is an example of a monolithic chain. Like all of the blockchains today are pretty much monolithic chains. We don't have ZK EVM out right now, so everything is considered a monolithic chain. And how monolithic chains are enhancing themselves or essentially creating optimizations on the validator layer. They introduce the concept of validators or DPoS or POS or proof of history or whatever you want to call it. But you have special nodes that are running as validators, and they do optimizations on this level, and they make this level more a little bit more optimized. So when transactions come in, they're able to process them in parallel or in an optimized way, and then they're still all put onto the layer one, and they're all put on layer one, and layer one is sharing the cost of everything, wallet transactions. And a modular chain, you still have the layer one blockchain, and now you have on the blockchain you have a zero knowledge proof contract, kind of like if you're launching ZK Sync, you have the ZK Sync contract that gets put onto the layer one blockchain. So the layer one consensus, really the only sharing of costs you're doing is on the proof contracts. There'll be one verification proof here happening every block or around every block, and one verification proof happening here, and any number of rollups. And then you have the providers, which are, like I was saying, those ASIC snark miners or just cloud service providers that are just crunching the transactions into proofs, from batches into proofs. We'll be using the ZK proof contracts, and there'll be a number of providers for each contract. And the transactions, the users are out here. The users are be transacting with the providers. And again, you get equivalent security to this, right? And you're moving off, and the base layer doesn't really see your transactions anymore. All the transactions are grouped up and batched and through single proofs. So that's how modular blockchains are scaling up. How Syscoin is different is, again, there's proof of work here, and there'll be ZK proof contracts. There also will be some data availability proofs that we can encode in, so you can store the data related to the transactions for the account off chain rather than put that on chain into the contract. Everything you store in here is expensive, right? It's going to add up because there's a shared cost here. But if you can keep the account data off and just the proof here, it scales much better. And in the Syscoin, we not only keep this layer consistent with Bitcoin, but we also have some solutions for the Validium model to scale that up in a secure way. So why are we looking at this specific example, ZK Sync? There's many rollups, and we think we'll probably have in the future have our own rollup. But to start out, ZK, it's a first ZK EVM solution. It's Web3 compliant, Solidity compliant. Existing native Ethereum signatures are compatible, so you can use MetaMask as it is to onboard into layer one. Once you're on layer two, they have their own signatures, but they use something that's compatible with MetaMask to sign those. So it's really interesting. They have a model where you can store your data on or off chain, depending on what you want to do. So that plays well with our Validium roadmap, because we have ZK rollups and then Validium coming after that. And Validium is just a code name for storing the data off chain. In the Volition model, that's what that is you can choose if you want to store your data on chain or off chain. And then they just have a intermediate step so that any language can compile into their native zero knowledge proof language. So they have a compilation step where they take Solidity and convert it, and it's running in their ZKP language. And any JavaScript, any other language, Rust or Go, can also do the same thing. So it's interesting in that it'll support any number of languages on top, not just Solidity. There's just a Solidity process to get into their ZKP system, and their ZKP system uses LLVM, which is their backend compiler support, to be able to go from some code into ZKP. Then you use Solidity to LLVM to ZKP is how they solved being able to do native Solidity support. In the future, maybe the end of this year, ETH Foundation is working on native ZK EVM, which means that you won't have any of this step in between. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I think having this is a nice thing, because you can support any number of languages. Once you have native ZK EVM, you will be running smart contracting right into this EVM protocol without any intermediate steps. So you don't have any of the risks of that conversion in between. If there are risks here, these will be audited, but again, those could be missed. So having a native ZK EVM means you're proving the actual traces of running actual EVM, not any other language or any other system is proven in zero knowledge. They're open source. We love that. Everything we do is open source on the infrastructure side. On the product side, it makes sense sometimes to close source some things, but open source on the infrastructure is big with us. And again, like the ZK Porter, they'll have off-chain, on-chain accounts. This is consistent with what we want to do. And philosophically, how we present Syscoin aligns with what they're doing. So in our case, we have full nodes. They're incentivized, and we can use them to do interesting data availability solutions that just don't exist on other blockchains. And this is where some of the research starts to come in, that we can do something different. And on Blockchain Foundry, we have an idea. We have a project called Peregrine, which essentially is compliance on the blockchain. And we were thinking to run one ZK rollup in a permission mode. And so brokers and KYC providers can onboard users into that system. And this means security tokens and regulated stablecoins, regulated tokens, regulated DAOs or whatnot can all run in the system without worrying about compliance, and every user is checked. So very interesting for security tokens, which are in clear need for brokerages to be able to store those tokens and use those tokens, at least within the first years of their sales. We can enable trading or enable interesting Web3 use cases for those systems. So again, just how Sys will provide value. We, in the pre-ETH2 world, we have swap services that will come in, and then post-ETH2 world, we will likely have bridges and services to go from layer 2 of one blockchain to the layer 2 of other blockchains, which are compliant with ZK rollups. And will also be likely composable. So we'll have systems that will make rollups composable with one another. So you can be using one, but liquidity can be shared amongst all of them, because again, through ZKP, you can do a whole bunch of cool stuff. And on the Syscoin enhancement to layer 1, we are inflation resistant proof of work that's attached through Bitcoin, through green initiatives and green proof of work, borrowing it from Bitcoin. We're not borrowing the validation and consensus, which does have the cost of all of the stuff of the carbon footprint. We're just borrowing the work that the miners are doing and putting it in our system so that we can solve these specific problems like chain locks, to remove selfish mining from the picture, which help with MEV, long-term MEV attacks. And then our scaling, then from when we have a strong settlement layer 1, we do roll-ups to scale up on the scalability side. And so then a bunch of things we're working on, the ZK Sync for regular tokens, your regular decentralized ZK Sync, and then we'll have a compliant version, most likely on the Blockchain Foundry side. Well, we have bridging already working, so you can use any swap or multi-chain to get in and out of from the Syscoin chain from other chains. We have grants and incentives. I'll talk a little bit about that. The enterprise side in North America, at least from Blockchain Foundry, the foundation focuses on adoption, and we have a bunch of projects on the go, and a lot more as soon as our layer two launches. On the incentives, I have a slide in the future, but now I'll talk a little bit about the compliant. If you're interested about the compliance, how that can potentially work, it's really interesting. It's very simple actually. But speaking with the SEC, they really stress that the DeFi world and these kind of things, they need a solution there so that enterprises can onboard. And if it can plug in with brokers, that would be ideal, because brokers already have these processes set up to check users, and they're just missing the Web3 component. What we're doing here is we're doing the Web3 component for brokers, where a user comes in from a broker, he's checked KYC or accreditation status, and if they are, then it proves. If not, it gets rejected. And in our case, if we're running this permission system in the back end, we own no information on users. We don't even know who they are. All we see is addresses. And in the back end, we are just approving or disapproving based on what the brokers are saying. So if the broker says this user has accreditation status, you can participate in security token offerings, then if there's a security token offering, we just approve that, because that's what the brokers are saying. And they can change that, they can reject it or approve it however they need. So it's like the ultimate black box for a compliant DeFi or Web3 platform. So what sort of things can you do with that? Like you could do regulate stable coins, DAOs. Some of the DAOs people did anon, and that won't really save you in the long term. IDOs, some people did unregistered sales, or doing anything from the US requires registration. So if you did that and you're doing it anon, it won't save you. A whole bunch of things like mining exploration, stocks, CFDs, stock tokens, dividends, real estate tokenization, all that starts to become possible that wasn't possible without a compliant Web3 platform. And it's a large, the security token thing is a large initiative. It's 160 trillion by 2030. And the global stock thing is 40 trillion by, that's today, that's this year, 40 trillion last year. And there's, costs on doing those things, but the costs are very negligible. So on the product side, really interesting as we start to get into doing cool things with ZK rollups. We feel there's interesting product revenue generation, and anyone can do that. And that's just what we're thinking about right now. I didn't talk about, one thing I wanted to talk about was some of the research we were doing with data availability. And that was what you might have thought was interesting, because it separates us from all the other blockchains, at least any rollup centric blockchain like Ethereum. I'm not going to get too technical into it, but having off-chain data availability solutions on the layer 1 blockchain will give you security to know that data exists somewhere for you to be able to extract and download and be censorship free. The assumption we're creating is that you only need one person in the world to have that data stored, instead of assuming that multiple people, like majority of the network, will know, which is what the ETH2 model is. We are saying only one person in the world needs to ever store the data, and as long as you can extract that information from that one honest person, then you will be able to, your off-chain, your Validium account, you'll be able to move from layer 2 to layer 1 in the event that the providers stop working. So that's something that I think is new, because traditionally you need at least some number of nodes. There's a minority assumption that maybe a quarter of the nodes have to be honest. But Vitalik pointed out that what happens in ZK Sync, if the guardians, someone owns all of them or super majority of them, in that case, he can control the data. And if he can control the data, he can censor people and ask for bounties or whatnot. In our case, if the ZK Guardians are relying on our data availability proofs on Syscoin, as long as one honest person exists, so either one honest person in Syscoin network or a connection of Syscoin and the guardians of ZK Sync, as long as one person stores the data, you'll be able to reproduce the state. And so it's a very nice improvement on the security side. So we have a bunch of things happening in terms of incentives. So we have a launch pad. We want to probably launch it directly